Hello. Today I'm going to demonstrate how to cut up swamp cabbage. This is the sable palm, which is the state tree of Florida, and this is actually the heart of it. We're going to get to the heart of it, and what we have to do is take out these outer layers here. This end right here is a soft, fleshy kind of end here, but it's called the bitter. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the bitter off of it and get to the center part here where the rings start, and I'll show you the rings in here in just a minute. And that rings where the rings start at. Out of one swamp cabbage, you can probably get about a double handful of edible cabbage. And what we're going to do is take that and then boil it down with some fat back or white bacon, and then salt and pepper or whatever type of seasoning you want to use in it, and boil that down. And then we're going to eventually, after we boil that down, we're going to make swamp cabbage fritter mix out of it. So then we're going to fry them kind of like a hush puppy, and fry them in hot oil, and make swamp cabbage fritters, which everybody really loves and all. But what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to take this bitter end off here and show you where the rings start. So I'll probably have my back to you just a second, but then we'll get right to it, and I'll show you so you can visually see where the rings start at on the cabbage. Cut the swamp cabbage. Swamp cabbage can grow 20 to 30 foot tall, and they use them in landscaping when they're that tall. But we cut them when they're about 3 to 4 to 5 years old, and then eat the heart of it. So they does kill the tree, but they replenish very proficiently. And there's quite a few of them around. The problem is in this area that we're in, Southwest Florida, that there's so many landowners that have them, and they don't allow access to go on their land to cut the cabbages, so there's not much public land or places that we can cut them at anymore. Used to be they were so plentiful you could cut them anywhere, but we have less and less places now that we can cut them. I don't know, the camera filled in, it might have got the bottom of my feet there for a minute, but I got just a little bit more. I got just a little bit more to cut off here. I'm gonna get a little bit closer, and you can see the rings. The rings are fixing to start. Actually, I'm just gonna cut it on the ground so I'm facing towards the camera. And I don't know if the camera picks it up good or not, but these are where the rings are starting right here. So the part that I just let fall on the ground, and the part I cut off right before then, was called the bitter. And the bitter, a lot of times people that are just first getting into cutting the cabbage up, they don't really realize that bitter's there, and they'll cut the bitter into the cabbage that they're going to cook, and in my opinion, it ruins it, because it just makes it a bitter tasting. And cabbage can be very sweet tasting and very good. I grew up with it, and as a kid we would go to the woods and get a slab of ribs or a steak and take it and go hunting or whatever, and then we cut a cabbage down, and that would be like our side dish to go with our meal. So I just took off that one layer. This is called a boot, and the boots are like this, and that's why they kind of call them a boot, because they kind of look like a boot and all. But if you can break it off with your hand, and then I'll show you, I'll pull it down. If you can break it off and it's soft enough to break off with your hand, it can go into the cabbage to be cooked. But then when you get right here, to start getting into the fiber part here, so there's a little, I mean, we want to try to get as much of the cabbage out of here and yield as much as we can out of here. But this fiber part is not good. It's too tough, and it won't soften up when you boil it down. So there's a lot of waste to one swamp cabbage to get the part that you're going to eat out of it. So we've cut that one boot off of it now. Now when I can use my knife, you kind of had to know with your knife the feel of it. But I'm cutting it. I turn my cabbage on my left hand and turn it around and cut the rings off into the pot here. We actually have some sour orange in here. The swamp cabbage will turn like a banana does. When the air hits it, it'll turn brown. And in fact, my fingers and all, my thumb and all, you probably can't pick that up with the camera either, but they have a lot of brown tint to them because of that. Well, I don't know what the name of it is. the makeup of it is in the cabbage, but that's just what they naturally do. But we put in the cabbage that we're cutting up, we put some sour orange juice in there, and that just counteracts the turning brown, and it keeps the cabbage white. It's just more appealing looking, as far as, don't make it taste any better. And actually, when we go to cook it, we'll take and pour off that lemon water or sour orange water, and then put it in some fresh water, and we actually cook it in fresh water. But then I just took one boot off of it.